What explains the delay in the Supreme Court issuing a ruling on Trump's immunity claim? All right, well, let's have one of you experts, first of all, explain what is the immunity claim. This is one of his 4 trials that he was supposed to have before the election took place. You know, don't get me started on that because I go off on that every week. They should have done this. They had all the time in the world. Merrick Garland, another useless apparatchik from the Democratic Party who couldn't get it done. The immunity claim. This is the one where Trump is claiming that you can't put me on trial for anything because as president, I can basically do anything, including kill people, right?
I had immunity.
And it's 114 days, I read, said that the Supreme Court has had this. Is there any reason they needed 114 days to think about this?
All right, let's talk about this episode of Real Time with Bill Maher featuring Andrew Cuomo and Adam Kinzinger. It was a wild one. You had a mix of sharp political critique, some solid laughs, and a whole lot of truth bombs being dropped on some of the biggest issues we're facing right now, both here at home and on the global stage. Let's start with the Supreme Court, which, let's be honest, is starting to feel less like a court of law and more like a group project that keeps missing deadlines. The delay in dealing with Trump's immunity claim is getting ridiculous. We're talking 114 days with no action. That's not thoughtful deliberation, that's next level procrastination. And Cuomo and Maher were all over it. They didn't hold back, calling out the system for what it is. A slow-moving mess that seems more focused on appearances than actual accountability. The public's trust in the justice system is already hanging by a thread, and this kind of delay just makes it worse. Are we actually trying to uphold the law here, or are we just stuck in another rerun of America's favorite political soap opera? Either way, the audience is left hanging once again, wondering if anything will actually come of it. Let's see how this conversation plays out, because there's a lot to unpack.
Obviously somebody's stalling. It's one thing when you put out a big landmark decision like Roe versus Wade and you do it at the end of a term because, abortion's been a certain policy for 50 years. This is a time of the essence, and somebody is trying to delay. That said, even if it comes out next week, there is still, Judge Chuckin gave 88 days until the trial started. I could see her still starting the trial in September. Donald Trump will say it's too close to the election, and she'll say, you're the one that appealed. I was ready to go at the beginning of the year. So I still think it's possible that this goes.
Yeah, but you know what's scary about this, from my point of view? The trials in New York, you had Florida, Georgia, and 2 in New York. The 2 trials in New York, New Yorkers said, 66% said the justice system is politicized. And there's nobody in New York who likes Trump. And still, 66% said the justice system is politicized.
Donald Trump really is the Teflon Don of modern politics. Nothing sticks. Every time he runs into legal trouble, like the New York hush money trial, it somehow turns into a political win. Bill Maher and Andrew Cuomo broke this down perfectly. What should be setbacks are actually fueling his momentum.
These cases don't hurt him, they supercharge his fundraising. It's like he's got some weird political superpower, turning courtroom chaos into campaign cash.
It's wild when you think about it. Instead of denting his credibility, all these charges just make his supporters double down. He's managed to flip the script and cast himself as the victim, the guy being unfairly targeted by the system. And the more the legal pressure builds, the stronger that narrative gets. It's fascinating, but also kind of alarming. Because while his base rallies harder than ever, the rest of the country just gets more divided.
That's why I think he's not paying the same price for these verdicts, because they believe it is political. And you want to talk about a threat to democracy. When you have this country believing you're playing politics with the justice system, and you're trying to put people in jail or convict them for political reasons, then we have a real problem.
Well,
Trump's legal battles aren't just about Trump. They shine a light on a much bigger issue, how political everything has become, even the justice system. Whether it's actually happening, or just the way people perceive it, there's a growing belief that the courts are being used to settle political scores. And that's a big deal. It's the kind of thing that chips away at people's trust in democracy and in the institutions that are supposed to be neutral. We're stuck in this loop. Accusations fly, everyone gets more polarized, and then both sides use it to raise money and rally their base. That's not just a Trump thing, it's becoming the playbook. But Trump's the master at it. He's turned legal drama into a political brand. Every indictment, every court appearance, it just adds to his image as the guy fighting the system. This isn't going away anytime soon. The mix of polarization, media hype, and public mistrust is going to keep shaping how people see justice and leadership in this country. And like it or not, that paradox is going to be a big part of Trump's story moving forward.
And the second one was fundraising. The trial in New York, the one he got convicted for, was the greatest fundraising bonanza ever. He was lagging behind Biden, and now he's pulled quite a bit ahead. That trial was the greatest reason people had to send their checks for 5, 10, 25, whatever dollars to Donald Trump.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look, it's a Hobson's choice always with him, because he's always guilty.
Yeah.
It's not like he's not guilty of any of these crimes, but the repercussions might be worse. I mean, this is something politicians always had to face. Remember when Obama came to office, they were like, how can you not put those people in jail, those Wall Street people? And Obama was like, yeah, that would feel good, and it is the right thing to do, but it's also more the wrong thing to do, because it'll tank the whole economy. Those are the kind of tough decisions that you have to make. So I was always with you on the one in New York, the hush money trial. I don't think they should have brought that one. It was just always going to look like a sex case, and people were always just going to look at it that way. So anyway.
That case, the Attorney General's case in New York, frankly, should have never been brought. And if his name was not Donald Trump, and if he wasn't running for president, I'm the former AG in New York, I'm telling you that case would have never been brought. And that's what is offensive to people. And it should be, because if there's anything left, it's belief in the justice system.
Just heard the one about trying to overthrow the government of the United States. That's the main thing. He tried to overthrow the government of the United States. And we're not going to hear that.
That's right.
For most politicians, something like the New York hush money trial would be a career ender.
But for Trump, it's just another opportunity to double down on his favorite storyline. Being the victim of a political witch hunt.
He knows exactly how to spin these legal battles into fuel for his base. It keeps them fired up, keeps the donations rolling in, and keeps him front and center in the media. This whole strategy works because it taps into a powerful mix. His larger-than-life personality, the deep distrust a lot of people feel toward the system, and the insanely polarized political climate we're living in. His supporters don't see these court cases as red flags. They see them as proof that the establishment is out to get him, which just makes them rally around him even harder. And of course, the media eats it up. Every time Trump's in court, it's wall-to-wall coverage, which only helps him stay in the spotlight and drown out everyone else in the race. But let's be real, it's not all upside. If these legal problems pile up and lead to actual convictions, or if independents start getting tired of all the drama, it could start to backfire. At the end of the day, Trump's legal mess is about more than just him. It reflects how broken our trust in the justice system really is, and how messy things have gotten in American politics. So what do you think? Is Trump playing the system or getting played by it? Drop a comment and let's talk about it. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more videos like this.